Hello, gorgeous friend. It's me, Robin Hallett, intuitive healer and light sparkler at robinhallett.com. And this is Tea with Robin. On today's episode, coming to you live from the pillow fort in the living room. Today is a day to huddle up. Let's come a little closer, hug a little tighter, allow ourselves to be exactly as we are, feeling all of the feelings, choosing intentionally how we are moving in this time now. Our inspiration this week, a healing technique to help you soften in your body and let some of the tension you may be carrying go. And we'll have a beautiful letter from a friend who wonders, how do you know if and when you've done enough? All this and more. Come grab a cup of yum yum and meet me here. Hi. It's me, Robin. Hi, friend. So good to be back with you today. Welcome back to the podcast, Tea with Robin. This is episode 92. And if it's your first time here, hello, it's me, Robin. It's lovely to meet you. This is a place of love and healing and coming together with friends on the journey to remember who we are, to remember what we're about, to remember how we serve one another and the journey and the world. So welcome. My friend, how are you doing today? How is the weather in your heart? I mean, wow. I'm recording this on Friday the 5th of June. We've just had the memorial service for George Floyd. And in the midst of so much movement in the world, so much awakening movement, protests, peaceful protests, the looting, the tears, the upset, the outrage, there's so much moving. How are you doing? How are you? Over here, I'm doing, definitely, I feel the heaviness. Definitely, I feel the sadness. Definitely, I feel a certain kind of vigilance too, where it's like all I want to do is be present with what's going on and be a light and be a support and be a help. And I have to keep coming to the side and reminding myself that I'm here for me as well. I'm here for me as well. So, lots of healing sessions this week and a lot of friends going through stuff now. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. It's an intense time. And what I really notice is because we're all connected, what goes on the outer is also mirroring what's going on the inner. And like I said, we'll talk more about that coming up. So I vote we cheers each other and begin. First of all, I am sitting on the floor in the formerly known as healing room. I told you last week I recorded here. And I really like it. I like the freedom of not sitting at my usual desk in my usual place. It just feels like it really changed the energy somewhat for me. And I'm trying it again here. This is where I come and do the morning lives every day. And it sort of feels like you are with me here. Interestingly enough, you are all with me and I'm with you. So, I like the vibes here. It's kind of like a campy pillow fort. And I even have a peanut butter banana sandwich right here and a glass of almond milk. That's what I have to toast you with today, my friend. Almond milk with a little stevia in there. I tell you, this was probably my favorite snack as a little girl. Peanut butter banana sandwiches. I also went and got the honey. Never sweet enough in my book. And sometimes that's really okay. It's really the right thing. So I'm raising my glass of almond milk to you. It says, "You are magic" on this cup. I love it. Cheers to us. Cheers to the world. Cheers to our light. Cheers to our awakening. And cheers to us staying together, to huddling closer and loving one another. Cheers. It's hard to slurp almond milk from a glass, but how did I do? So beloved, I'm sitting here on the floor and I have between the banana sandwich and all these different notes around me, I've been keeping I don't know if you can hear this, but I've been keeping a bit of a diary since I started offering morning lives. The earliest one I have here says May 23rd, and every day I would sit down and write notes from Spirit. What do you want to say? Just the same way I prepare for sessions, or usually if I do a reading, I ask for guidance the same way and make notes before the session. And so I started doing that when our coronavirus lockdown began, when we first announced in Illinois anyway that we were going to be sheltering in place, or I still don't know what we call that. And here we are, all these weeks and weeks and weeks later. I'm really struck by something. It's really been coming to me this morning, especially, that, when coronavirus first broke out, early January, maybe, or somewhere around there. I think a lot of us, I just assumed it was a China problem. It was over there. It was somewhere else. It was not here. And actually, I was in Italy with number one husband, and, we were oblivious. I think we didn't really know about it till we got home and started learning more about it. But flash forward a few months later, and we were in it too, weren't we? We were staying home. Our schools were being closed. Our employers were telling us to stay home. I still remember the first week I had to write my in-person healing clients and say, I'm going to stop offering in-person sessions. I remember feeling afraid. I remember being scared that, am I making too big of a deal of nothing? Something out of nothing. I remember feeling worried that people would be mad at me, that I would, lose clients that way if I didn't stay open. I was scared about so many things, but I remember doing it anyway. Because that's what felt right, and that's who I am, somebody who honors how it feels, even if it's uncomfortable, So just remembering back on this very, very beginnings, and I do have a point here today. Just remembering how we all sort of began to ease our way into, oh my God, I guess this really is happening. It's real, Of course, by March, we had already seen Italy explode with cases. we've seen so much happen already, So my point is, little by little, we began to acclimate towards this is what is. There's a heaviness in this time. There's a seriousness in this time. We need to take precautions. We need to take this seriously. Not everybody was on the same page, all of that, but we started in a way uniting all around the world for the first time probably ever in the history of, all that is, that we were all going through something as one, worldwide. You might have had places that were in denial or hardly impacted at first, but here we are, I know for me, by mid-March, it just felt like we were all in it. So that's when I began doing, I thought, I'm going to come, it was a Sunday, I'm going to come and do an Instagram live and just share some space. I think Jeff and I made a video together. It was kind of funny on fast forward. We fast forwarded it because it was taking too long, and that made us laugh so hard that we then left it fast forwarded. And it was just about the social pressure thing, like, it's okay, stay home. And I said in the video, it's not us, it's not you or me, it's just us. It's just us. And I remember that was probably the first time I've said something like that publicly, and it felt good, it felt true, but it also felt edgy. Because I think even for me, before all this began, there was a way I could hide certain parts of my knowing and my belief system and my what really felt true for me. There was a way that maybe I was walking in the world and also walking in the spirit way, but it wasn't 100% combined per se. That has completely changed in this Corona times. And now in I don't even know what to call this time where there is such awareness and awakening around the Black Lives Matter movement, around the deaths of so many of our brothers and sisters around, right now, today, I'm thinking about Breonna Taylor and, of course, George Floyd, and there's so much awareness here. So I'm marveling at how this virus was the thing that began to get us to stay home, quiet, simmer down, settle down. A lot of us had to move through our anxiety of having to be more present together. A lot of us had to learn how to get through the feeling of wanting this freaking virus to go away, and it wouldn't. We're still here. And I mean, I just was reading something for a lot of people, we still haven't hit the peak in a lot of places, so it's like we have to learn. We're still learning how to get present, how to be still, how to show up right inside what's going on. You can't pretend, we all know what's happening. So even if your neighbor says, how you doing? It's a lot harder to just be like, oh, it's a great day. It's a great day. It's a wonderful day. I mean, it might be, but also there's all this stuff, heaviness going on. And like I was saying, also what's going on the outer usually has some kind of reflection on the inner as well. Have you been finding that to be the case for you in your personal world, that issues are lighting up for you too? You've been facing some things I am really noticing that in healing sessions. I gotta say, so it's been a week since I recorded last, and I have never had a week where so many people I work with have been bawling, as we say, bawling their eyes out, just really, really up against it. Personally, of course, about what's happening in the world. I mean, just it's like a horrible nightmare. It's a horrible nightmare that is very, very real. And the blessing of the corona times is I feel, have been conditioned to be present, to be still, so that we can be present and listen and receive and learn in this time. Me, I say we, but I mean me as a white person. There's a lot I'm learning. And a lot of what I'm learning is about myself, is my character strength, my goodness, my willingness to speak truth to even try in a very difficult circumstance where there's fear and you don't know if you're going to say it the right way, and you might feel afraid to even reach out to people and talk about this, what's going on, or to share things about your experience with each other. It can all feel so big right now. And what I'm learning about myself in this time is I'm a good person, and I care, and I believe in unity, and I believe that it's just us, not me and you or us and them. It's just us. It's all us. And what you do to one of us, you do to all of us. And we are waking up to that. We have a long way to go. Clearly, we have a long way to go. What I'm finding is that as I keep showing up every single day without a break, I haven't missed one day since the first time I showed up live, which is, I think, a lot. It's huge. I've never done anything like that before. I come and do the podcast once a week, and that already feels like a commitment I'm afraid to keep. It's scary every week. What am I going to say? What do I have to offer? Does anybody like it? That part of my personality flaw, defect, whatever you want to call it, it never goes away. So now here I am every single morning showing up, and the fear is there, and am I going to get heckled? Am I going to get spammed? Am I going to be attacked? There's so much energy there. But what I have found over the weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I guess we could say months and months and months, I don't know, forget it, doesn't matter, is that a community is building. We are a community there. And like-minded or like-hearted, we are showing up and supporting one another. And what I realized this week, watching, and I talked to you about this last episode, which was 91, we are one. 91, we are one. Coming here to talk about the murder, the killing. I don't know how it's tough language about Floyd dying. Watching that video, I know for me, the very next day, I came to the live and we talked about lots of stuff. And around that, exploring a lot of topics that I think, because we've been creating a space together, a container for one another to hold hearts together, hold hands, to stay present, to share. A lot of times we're raising our hand to things that we're all feeling. I mean, on a live, I'm the one there on the camera, but it's a very active group, very active energy. So you get a sense of resonance, and there's a way we can share hearts and share the love. And just like me, there are many people who come who have never missed one either, or very few. So I realize, like, the beauty of all this time is we have built a container of support. And now we have it to rely on, and now we can have some conversations that I don't know that I've ever had with my friends. And if you're listening and you've not come to a live, or you have never heard me talk about it, you are invited. You're part of our love posse. Of course you're invited. Every single morning on Instagram, 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I believe 3 p.m. in the UK. You're invited. You join us. You belong here. It's been hugely helpful. And as I said, one of the things I'm learning is who I am, truly. There's no more of this in public. You know, in social situations, I'm this one kind of Robin, and then in healing situations, I'm this other kind of Robin. What I realize is it's always me everywhere I go, and I'm more and more comfortable in my skin, sharing what I know, sharing what I feel, sharing what's coming to me. And I'm also so much more comfortable honoring boundaries around what isn't authentic anymore. Every day we choose a word for the day to align ourselves with and to stay grounded in. And so many days in a row, my word is something like honesty or truth, because I really want to get to know what I really think. And I recognize that somewhere in this pandemic, and even now in the Black Lives Matter movement, in our greater awakening of Black Lives Matter, I realize that even though people think I'm a truth teller, I hear that a lot. I tell the truth, I speak the truth. There are many times where I'm not being honest with myself about things, not being truthful with myself about what's going on. There is like an extra bit of distance I needed to go to claim myself, my heart, my life, my perspective, my opinion, the way I put other people before me, the way I care more about the opinion of other people in terms of, if I don't say it right, you're going to be mad at me, or if I don't get the words right, or if I'm not a good enough person campaigning for Black Lives Matter in just the right way, I'm in trouble. These feelings have been here in my heart. Learning that sometimes I say yes when I really want to say no, but because I don't know how to say no in a way, I say yes. And you probably know that about me, because I talk about that a lot. So this time is a time where I'm learning not only about what is going on in the world, what is happening for Black people, what their experience is, what's going on for them. I'm learning about myself and what I've always known all along. And that is, in a way, that what we do on the outer, we are doing on the inner. What we do to one, we do to all. What we do in one area affects the whole. It's like that. So it's like, man, I hope this is making sense today. It's like, if I can't be honest in my own heart about how I'm feeling about things, it's a problem. It's a problem for the greater whole. So it's really important to allow ourselves some space to process, some space to ponder, some space to explore. Not just react, not just come out in the world and post a bunch of stuff so that you're doing the right thing. You're being seen to be doing the right thing, and you're being seen to be doing the thing that's on the right side of this argument or this movement. I hope that's making sense. But to know in your heart with truth and honesty where you sit. And, I know for me that I could say it like this. How could I possibly say that I fully understand your experience? Any you, but especially in this time of Black Lives Matter, how can I really get what it's like to be you? I don't even get what it's like to be me. Like there's still times where I throw myself under the bus. Of course I'm not seeing you clearly either. So it's been a really deep time for me where I am waking up to all of that. And what I find is, I'm a really good person. I really love myself. I've been reaching out to my friends and asking them how they are and what their experience has been like, and to share some stories with me. And I'm hearing things in a new way everywhere. And I'm talking about, my Black friends. I'm asking, and I have been feeling scared. There's moments where I wonder, am I doing something wrong? But I think, you can't worry about that. You just have to keep going and trust with the love in your heart, in your goodness, and the goodness you feel about your friends too, Yeah, it's a time. It's a deep time. It's a really deep time. Deep time to process and evaluate. This is funny. I've been saying this all week in the lives. How we usually have the psychic ding here. Lately, because I'm in the healing room, which is the living room, it faces the main, we're on a corner, so we're at a stop sign intersection. I don't know. And so you get the traffic noise. And just as I said that, a long semi-trailer went by with those ginormous sewer pipes. They're laying some new, larger somewhere sewer pipes. I like that metaphor. Going deeper, opening up more, and being present with what's going on. So one of the things I've been noticing, I've got all these notes here, is that there's been a lot of frustration. One of the things I've been learning, and this is not new, of course, but is the frustration at not being seen, not being understood, not being heard. That's one of the things I'm learning even more deeply in this time, is that, we really, and you really, if you say, I do see you, I do get you. This could be anywhere, you guys. This could be in your friendships, in your personal relationships. Think about your own life. But with our friends, people of color, it's like, that's one of the things. You guys don't understand what it's like to be us. And just for us to say, yes, I do. I know what it's like to be you. It's just dumb. Let's not say that. It's because we don't. We think we do, but we don't. And could we be open? That's what I love. It's like, could we be undefended in our essence as we receive all of these learnings together? One of my favorite books of all times is called The Undefended Self. Could we be undefended? There's no need to defend ourselves. Who you are is love. Who you are is love in a body. The Course in Miracles says, love created me like itself. You are created in the image of a loving force, creative force. That's who you are in a body. When I feel defended, I am in my ego. That's just how it is. So how would it be to just be open and undefended? For our inspiration coming up, I'll share a healing technique that I'd love to share that might really be helpful to you now. Instead of saying, I care, I do care, I do listen, I do know, Have you ever been in an argument with a friend or your spouse? This happens to me with number one and I sometimes, where I'm like, I feel like you don't get it. And he'll say, I do get it. And it's like, that is the most unsatisfying answer on the planet. What you want is to hear back. Like literally have it repeated back to you what you've said, and to feel the depth of understanding, or at least the willingness. You want that feeling like something is clicking into your heart. Oh yeah, they get it. They feel it. So, let's be open. Let's receive and allow ourselves the deepening time, the deep process, There are plenty, and by the way, there are plenty of people sharing and teaching. This week or just yesterday, I heard 2 really beautiful talks from Maxine Waters, Congresswoman in California, and the amazing, beloved Barack Obama, according to Robin. And I felt so able to hear what they were saying. So able to hear and receive. And I felt so soothed. I love, and not just now, but for a long time now, I love Tabitha Brown. I listen to her almost every day. The thing I love is she is such a mom and so loving. And super recently, she gave one of my, I'll try and link this up in the show notes, but one of my favorite, there's lots of people explaining why, don't just say all lives matter. Say Black Lives Matter, because until Black Lives Matter, all lives don't matter. It's like so clear, but she has such a loving way of speaking and sharing. And Muji is another teacher I love. These are all people of color I'm talking about. And my point with that is saying there are people who are speaking in a way that I'm able to receive and be open to as well. And what I realized, what is it that makes it so easy? I could sit and listen forever, even though this is hard to fathom. It's hard to process and to see how, yes, I get how I have places that need to awaken in me to what's been going on, what I've been carrying and not doing, But what's the unifying thing? Because it's easy to listen. And that's one thing I've noticed is a lot of people are feeling defended about, I am not a racist, that feeling. And there's a lot of conversation about that now. But your safety, your defenselessness is where it's at. undefendedness is where it's at. And so the thing about all of these teachers I just mentioned and more is that they're coming from a place of unity as well. They're coming from a place of aligned in the heart space. I could say they're coming from a place of oneness or higher self. It's not ego. They're not coming from us versus them, even though they are. Maxine Waters, wow. Going all the way back, I've found talks she's given way back, like back in the Rodney King times. She has spoken truth to power and spoken so clearly and never changed her perspective and always used words like racism. Never changed her tune, never backed down, insisted on being heard, and still has a presence where you want to, I won't say you, I want to sit at her feet all day and listen, like Maya Angelou was. Maya Angelou, who would ask you to go if you weren't being respectful in her home, if you were using language or using disrespectful language, she would ask you to leave. She would call you out on it with love. So my point is, you can find your teachers, you can find your learnings, You can. You don't have to go where it doesn't feel supportive or or helpful, where it feels harmful and scary. That's not, I feel like, we really need to be in a place of awakening now, and we need to be with hearts that are awakening as well. And you know the difference, don't you? So the difference between defenselessness and defendedness is 100 million miles apart. Defenselessness, I can see you, I can be with you, I can say, I am so sorry, to know, to feel it. I am so sorry you've been carrying this. I am so sorry. What can I do to make this better? I see you. And you're not afraid to huddle up, to get a little closer, to come in tighter. You're not afraid. When you're defended, you know how this is. You're just worried about making your points and being right. It's like you're not even interested in any kind of presence. You're not interested in seeing or hearing or receiving. And of course you wouldn't say, I'm so sorry. This is what you're going through. I see what's happening, and I hate this for you. I want, for my whole heart, to make this better for you. And so I am committed, It's just such a huge, huge difference. I was thinking about that this week, that, one of my very first playmates in kindergarten, I always thought, I am not racist. My first friends were black. My Mrs. Gayo in second grade, my favorite teacher, black. I always thought I didn't really notice. It didn't really, if anything, just the gorgeousness that my friends have. And I have some clients today, and I just feel a very exquisiteness about them. Beauty and light around them. And so I always thought, I'm not racist. I don't have a problem. But here's my learning. And I'm going back to when I was living in Germany in my 20s. We had a woman who would come and clean our house named Anna. And she called on the phone. I think a friend recommended her at work, and we talked to her on the phone, and we had a really nice conversation. And I could tell she had an accent, but it was a very where I was living, it felt very diverse there. So who knows? You don't know. But she said, do you have a problem? I need to tell you something before I come in for the interview. Do you have a problem with black people? And I was like, do I have a problem with black people? And I kind of had this feeling like, what are you, nuts? Why would I have a problem with black people? Like, I wasn't feeling defended. It just didn't compute. It didn't compute. And the thing is, it didn't compute. And that's my problem. That's the thing I've really been learning and sitting with this week and praying on and holding space with you and us and on the morning lives is like, there are places in us that don't compute. And are we willing to let them compute? Are we willing to give some space to letting it factor in, to talking to your friends and understanding how they have not felt safe or held, or the kind of suspicion they come under that we've never really experienced? Of course you've had experiences, but it is hugely different. So, yeah, this is what I'm learning this week, and truth and honesty have been, those words have really taken me places. When you're undefended, when you're willing to practice being undefended, there's a spaciousness here. You're not preoccupied by a busy signal, and the busy signal is just like jibber jabber continuing on in your head. Whatever the jibber jabber is. And I should say, and I have said this the last few weeks, no matter where you are on this issue, it's global time where there is energy palpable, and even if the story isn't the story for you, some people really feel like their own lives, they have so much going on, is what I'm trying to say. You're probably still feeling this energy because it's a vibration, this liberation, this outrage, this I'm on my knees begging you to get this. This energy is palpable and all around the world. So wherever you're at now, this is the time to give yourself to this and to be open, create the spaciousness on your insides, to take time alone in the garden and be. And if you don't like to be alone in your garden, take it in the bathtub, do things at a slower pace so you're sure that you're giving yourself space. Because like I said, even in the healing sessions, maybe 8 sessions this week, to a person, everybody in tears, pushed to their limits. And not just by this movement or the COVID-19, we're all walking through things. We're all walking together, and we're all experiencing. It's a time of unrest in so many ways. So, like I say, huddle up. I'm sharing my biggest hug with you right now. I hope you can feel it. Let's really do it. I'm going to put my arms around myself, but pretend it's for you, okay? Yeah, it's a deep time to reevaluate and help yourself now. And to consider, what do I need? Aside from anyone else I'm taking care of or worrying about out in the world, I am here and I have needs. So good. So, I invite you to share this on. We have some inspiration coming up and a beautiful letter, but I invite you to share this on with a friend who may need it. And I'll say, it's a horrible time and it's a healing time. It's a time of great liberation and healing, and we are waking up. So, it's again, it's a time of unity. You can't see one without the other. You can't say only it's a liberating, wonderful time, and you can't say it's only a horrible time. The unity, the non-dual healing applies here too. It's all of it, and it's all one, and it all goes together, and you can process that if you're feeling devastated in your heart about the deaths of our friends, of the tear gassing, I will not even get started on Washington. I promise myself not to bring that up here. Let's just say a certain someone with a certain Bible at a certain monument, and I'll leave it there. When you get a little cray-cray in your mind about things, remember Robin saying it's everything. You can't just hold one aspect. Allow it all to be here, and somehow you see it's sort of like a rising tide. Things are lifting us out, and there are along the way some really horrible happenings, and somehow they factor into this miracle too. So, yeah, share this on. And I was saying, forgive me. For reals, if I didn't say it, I hope you feel the love in my heart, because I'm awkward too. And I'm really trying not to learn the right way to say things. I am seeing this thing I'm going to call the party line online, where it's like, there's a certain script people keep sharing, and maybe they've been told to say this, but it starts to feel meaningless. I may not have the right words, but I'm willing to learn, or whatever the line goes. And I'm not even knocking that. I'm just saying, I hope it's sincere. I hope it's sincerely felt if you're writing those words and sharing them, because that's what we need now. It makes me cry. Like, we need sincerity now. It's a deep time, and we need sincerity with our brothers and sisters, right? I see you. I'm so sorry. I love you. I'm with you. That's how Robin feels, So let's have one more hug, okay? I'm hugging me. You hug you for me, and I'll hug me for you right now. Wait, are you doing it? Okay. And I vote we have some more almond milk. I really do have a banana Sammy here. It's an open-faced toast. Here's the toast. And one banana. This might get cut out. You never know. It's been really fun to sit here on the floor and record, I gotta say. It changes things. Doing things different changes things up. And that's really been a powerful awakener for me in this time. So inspiration this week. Just find my notes here. I did a whole morning live on defendedness a few days ago. Being defensive and being defended, and also the other side of defended, which is to be in attack mode. And I'm thinking about the Course in Miracles when I say attack and defend, by the way. In fact, hang on one second. I'm going to go get the book. Okay, I'm back. So I was thinking about this lesson 135 in the Course in Miracles. If I defend myself, I am attacked. And think about yourself when you're defensive, when you feel like you need to defend yourself. Just think about your body posture for a minute. Body gets tight, shoulders go up high, you get hot in some ways, your hot things start to pound somewhere in your chest, it feels elevated in there inside of you, and it feels tight, doesn't it? So if I defend myself, I'm attacked. What does that mean? There's a line in the lesson that says, you operate from the belief you must protect yourself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens you. A sense of threat is an acknowledgement, a belief that there is danger, which has power to call on you to make an appropriate defense. The world is based on this insane belief, and all its structures and all its thoughts and doubts, its penalties and heavy armaments, its legal definitions and its codes, its ethics and its leaders and its gods, all serve but to preserve its sense of threat. No one walks the world in armature, but must have terror striking at his heart. And that for me is the line. It's like, if I'm holding my body, if I'm holding my energy, if I'm holding my thoughts in a way that are defensive, this could be about, a friend who's mad at you or doesn't like the way you said something, or you're just feeling sensitive and worried that somebody's mad at you, or you ever go to a party, and now who's going to parties these days, but maybe you are. I have not been to a party. Not since New Year's Eve, and I think I was still alone with number one there. But, where you come home and you're like, oh, why did I say that? And all that's being defended too. But it's like, the thing I love about what that line was saying is, if I'm carrying defendedness, it means that there is terror striking my heart continuously. It's like an infinity symbol. It's not out there, it's in here. There's a terror in my heart, and I'm defending myself. I feel the fear again, and I defend myself. And I feel the fear again, and I defend myself. So one thing you can do is reverse the energy. So in your body, did you think about your defensive posture? We can do a gesture of no defense. Lower your shoulders. Soften your butt cheeks. Some of us have tight butt cheeks. I won't name any names. Let your legs be soft. Stand up and put your feet hip width apart. And let yourself move a little, like side to side. Side to side. As you imagine some energy discharging out of the body, it's just releasing down into the earth. I'm doing that now. I'm sitting on the floor, but I'm rocking back and forth, and it feels so good. And a lot of times you'll see me in session, or if you come to the lives, I am in movement a lot. And that's, I guess, how I've learned to just be grounded. And, when you freeze, you're not okay, right? When you're frozen solid, you're not okay. When you see an animal who's frozen mid-step, you know that something's wrong, So if you find yourself in that state, make some moves to soften, and perhaps place a hand on your high heart. That's the space just under the collarbones there, just the thymus gland. Put a hand there. Thymus gland, the gland that has a huge role in your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, energetically. Place a hand there and stabilize yourself. Make it the hand that says all is well, here. Or just put the hand there and say, here. Sometimes I tell people, put the other hand over your other up your first hand and know that that's my hand, holding your hand, holding your heart. The undefended self is who you truly are. This is who you are. Love is who you are. And according to Robin, if you're not feeling okay about everything happening now, or about whatever you're not feeling okay about, this is what you need to be doing more than anything else. If you're feeling like I can't hold it all together, well, don't. I can't keep it together. Well, you're not supposed to. I can't take it anymore. Who asked you to? I can't keep it to myself anymore. Thank goodness. You know what I'm saying? So keep your body moving side to side as you imagine an energy releasing, discharging down. Sometimes you can rock on your heels. You know, if it's intense, you got a lot you're feeling, you can let your heels touch the ground, like rock up onto the balls of your feet and then down on your heels and let some energy out. You can shake out your hands. Probably hear me shaking my bracelets here. Shake, 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 like Taylor Swift. Shake it off, shake it out. Or Florence and the Machine, shake it out. Shake. Shake. Let this energy go. So I hope that helps today. Give it a try. It's something great to teach your kids if you have little ones or big ones. It really helps me too to remember. I mean, the big one is soften your shoulders. Just let them fall. Let your belly be soft. Let your face be soft. And there is no need to defend yourself. Who you are is love. And love created you like itself. And for me, if we really want to be of service to our friends, then we practice. A soft, tender, a soft and open energy stance. Being open and interested to receive. If you think of like how we say namaste, the light in me greets the light in you. There goes another big truck. Wow. I have to say I prefer the psychic ding to the psychic trucks. But earlier today, it was funny. I said something to number one. It was kind of intense. Not bad, but I mean like a powerful statement. Because I'm having these things where people want to get together, and I still feel like social distancing is really, really important. I know enough friends in the field where it feels a little bit, for me, irresponsible. Like, I care about my brothers and sisters. I'm not going to expose myself needlessly, especially because that might harm you. That too is being thoughtful. So we were talking about, not going to dinner, not going to this person's house, even if we can sit in the yard. I'm like, what happens if I have to pee? No, no, I don't want to do it. But those are the moments where I can feel defended and stressed out, and just remember that, you're always okay, and all of how you're feeling is okay, and it's okay. It's okay. But anyway, I said that, and then I said, I wish I could just give myself permission to know what I know and feel what I feel, and know that I'm not a bad person if I don't want to go to the party. I've been saying this all week. We have to learn how to bear the guilt and do what's right for us anyway. Same thing. So right after I said that, the lights started flickering in the room. Not just once, not just twice. Funny how that happens, isn't it? So, anywho, defenselessness. May that serve you. Gesture of no defense. Even in yoga, you can look up the gesture of no fear. Very nice. That would be another one to practice. Let yourself rest and be soft. Well, friends, before I read today's letter, this is the part where I like to ask you to support the podcast. If there is a way that you could share this episode on with a friend or mention it, if you see me post on social media, forward it or add it to your stories. This is a relevant topic in a very important time, and I don't have all the answers, but I do know that this is a bridge I'm building over a huge ass gap, And so there are friends who probably, that could use this message. So if it feels right, share it on. I welcome a donation if that works for you, or I have some beautiful courses, and always you can say a prayer for me or send a letter in to the podcast. All of these things help me and help the work, and I appreciate you for that. Or leave a review. Thank you. I say we have more bananas. We are in the pillow fort, I'm going to have to show you a picture of this room. It's so cute right now. So this week's letter is about our time now, I don't know about you, but there has been some pressure. There's been a lot of pressure, if I'm honest, really, that I need to do more. Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Is it enough? What I'm sharing enough? Is my awareness enough? Are my efforts enough? And it's really intense. I understand. So it's just a short letter this week. I wanted to read a few things to you and just talk a little bit about it. And this comes from Jamie, and she reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hi, Robin. I am so loving the morning lives. I'm wondering if you would talk a little bit more about what I can do as a young white light worker. You talk a lot about being kind with ourselves for how much help each of us is doing, and to stay awake to the shame factor. But I wonder, really, what can I be doing? I don't like to watch the news. I find it very upsetting, and still I want to be of service. I have a constant feeling in my heart like I'm not doing enough. How much is enough? When will it be enough? Thank you so much, Jamie." So I thought I would start. A friend of mine sent me a letter written by Stephen Bartlett. You may know who Stephen Bartlett is. I'll post his Instagram handle here. But I'm just going to read this to you. An unpopular Black opinion. Trying to shame people into posting on social media about racism, hashtag Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd incident is not fair or helpful. If someone doesn't post, that doesn't mean they don't care. And it doesn't make them a bad person. We all watched the same horrific video of a black man being asphyxiated to death by a white police officer as he pled for his life. It touched everyone in a deeply emotional way. However, we will all naturally deal with what we watched in completely different ways. Some people took to social media immediately. Some people spoke to their friends privately. Some people listened and tried to learn. Some people were so overwhelmed and confused that they couldn't find the words. We don't need everyone to talk. We need everyone to listen. Public social media posts are not the only way people process how they're feeling. In fact, public posts seem like one of the more unnatural ways to process intense, personal, and complicated emotions. People that post less aren't more racist. Let's remember, the goal here isn't to trend on social media or to be politically correct to our followers. The goal is change, and there are many important pathways to change. One is self-reflection. One is political pressure. One is protesting. One is educating ourselves. Any quick and easy action like a social media post that endeavors to solve such a complex and systemic issue is probably not going to be a meaningful and effective action. So if somebody's first reaction wasn't a tweet or Instagram story, maybe they're thinking a little deeper. As a black man that has experienced racism throughout my life, I don't want people to post because they think they have to, or because they feel pressured to. I would rather they spend their time listening and learning and reflecting. After all, real change starts at home. It's been incredible to see people of all races standing in solidarity in streets all over the world. It's been incredible to see people use their platforms to educate and inform. But please don't assume anything from someone's silence, and don't pressure them to react like you. In a moment like this, there's no correct reaction. There's only empathy and how it inspires various types of change. And the truth is, if we were able to show a little more empathy as humans, we probably wouldn't be in this position in the first place. So beautiful. So back to you and your question, that is, as a light worker, I like how you said a white light worker. It reminds me of the white lighters from Charmed. I love that show so much. The reboot, not as much, but fun too. Charmed. Our white lighter. As light workers, we're here holding space. And as space holders, we're often quiet. We're often behind the scenes. There's already enough shame out there. There's enough angry people sharing angry demands and anywhere in your body that you're carrying old stories and fear or upset, it's going to trigger memory for you, and it's going to feel upsetting and scary. So know that. And do your work in your own backyard. I wrote this in the letter to the Love Posse this week, that fear can rise in times like these. Obviously, fear for ourselves, fear for the world, fear for our friends, for our neighbors, the people watching on television being gassed and murdered and, just ugh. Yes, fear can rise in these times. But it especially highlights the fear that's connected to your own personal journey. The things that happened to you in the past that get highlighted in your nervous system now. And it lights up right alongside what you're witnessing in the world. And it's really important to know that. It makes a difference to me to know that, to remember that, to keep it in mind that if I'm feeling extra sensitive or extra afraid or extra concerned that I'm not doing enough, I wonder what that guilt impulse in me really is about deeply. You know? Because I feel like, this week I spent a lot of time doing things this week and learning especially and listening a ton. And the whole time I noticed that I feel excited about it. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel worried that I'm not doing enough per se. But when I feel that pressure, it's usually because somewhere I'm picking something up in a way. Remember how I was saying if I defend myself, I'm attacked? Well, if somebody attacks me, I defend. So there are a lot of shame-based messages out there. There are. There are people choosing to share from that place. Let's not do that to each other. Let's not shame each other for not doing enough. And, how about the meaningful change? Meaningful change is not happening in a tweet. Or, I'm sorry, even in a donation, one donation. It's through our prolonged, love. It's through our hearts. It's through our day in and day out practices that we change the world, that we contribute and participate. And, staying present every single day, showing up is huge. And something I tell friends is if you are wondering what more you can do, then directly address the upset in your own life. Is there violence or separation in your life? Are there people you're not speaking to now? Make some repair moves. Practice some ho'oponopono. You don't have to have people over to your house anymore. You don't have to stay friends to forgive someone. You can forgive them and still, not be together with them. But to carry the anger in your heart, that's somewhere you could practice. Violence against yourself. Are you carrying hurt that you're not working on? Are you struggling and not receiving support for yourself? A lot of friends that I help in session really need that assistance. I listen to them basically beating up on themselves for things they think and feel, but they don't know. They don't realize that what they're doing is creating more violence against themselves in those thoughts. That's what I'm there to help with. So work it out there. Practice there. Work it out with the people in your life. Choose to be a light wherever it's hard. Set boundaries. Be honest. Don't go like me. Don't go to a party you're already uncomfortable and said you don't want to go to. Don't go out of guilt. Stay home. Face the music. And choose to lead and invite other people to follow instead of noticing, I think too, I know this is not just me. A lot of people in our awakening community, we can be just as judgy about the people who are choosing not to wake up now. People will say to me, I get so mad at the people who don't understand whether it's on Black Lives Matter or politics or coronavirus, this all kind of goes together. Instead of being mad and making it, again, me against you, how can you lead and allow people to follow, or allow them their own perspective and their own breath? Understanding that, I was saying the rising tide lifts all boats, but it also lifts a lot of other stuff that has to come up out of the muck and be gotten rid of. A lot of this stuff is happening now. So just do your work in your own backyard. It's a huge help. Not all of it needs to be big moves, and not every single human being on the planet needs to make every single move towards this one movement. And it still means you're doing the work, and it still means you're doing the good work, and it still means you're doing the awakening work, and it's you helping the world. And that's really the most important. We're all here waking up. Every more awake person in the world, it's a help. It's a light. It's wow. So, don't judge yourself, and don't let anybody make you feel like you're not doing enough. That we give somebody, a stranger on an Instagram post, for example, who's shouty, is getting very shouty, very angry. What are you really witnessing there? You're witnessing somebody being shouty and angry, but that doesn't mean it's your fault. That doesn't mean it's you're responsible. Directly, as if it's all on you, is what I'm trying to say. So, stay curious about why you react that way, and don't let anybody make you feel that way. There's too much of that messaging out there. You get to decide what's right for you, and all of how we feel is okay. And, for me, it's like, if I'm going to listen and receive at your feet, you need to be speaking that message too. Unity, consciousness, oneness. It's us. And when we care about the collective whole, that means we need to learn about our gaps. We need to... Anyway, I'm going to just go on and repeat myself. But, I hope that helps you. I really do. And friends, I could use another letter. I do believe that was the last one about these times. So, I don't know. Next week I might have to start reciting recipes. Or teaching you how to crochet. Or maybe we'll just make some more banana Sammies together in the pillow fort. So, if there's something I can speak to for you, feel free to message me or write to me here. The deets are below the podcast, or email me at hello@robinhallett.com. Well, friends, that wraps another super awesome episode here in the Pillow Fort. And I'm feeling pretty good in my heart right now. Looking out at these beautiful green trees. It feels like the spring green is still here, even though it's June 5th. I'll probably head out to the garden for a bit now and plant some seeds, put up some trellises for the tomato plants. Everything, I'm super late this year. Everything's super late, but I figure it's all green, it's all gorgeous. It doesn't really matter. Wouldn't it be nice to not pressure yourself? Wouldn't it be nice to say, let me take my time. What's the rush? I love that feeling. And, yeah. Well, I'm going to see you here next week, my friend, or in a few minutes, if you like to listen to these back to back to back to back. Sending you so much love, and please don't forget the truest truth, and that is you are love, and love created you like itself. And, love is viral, along with all the other stuff going viral right now. Don't forget, okay? It's been me, Robin, Heart Sparkler, Awesome Sauce, Hallett. I will see you here next time. Bye-bye. Life is very short, let's make the very most of it. You are a precious gem and I love you. Do 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 do. We are here to shine and shine bright. You are a gem and I love you. Do 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 do. Life is precious and you are a spark of the divine. So shine like you know it, rock it like you mean it, 'cause you really, really mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it. Don't let crispy people tell you that you aren't sparkly, 'cause you are, 'cause you are, 'cause you are. Thank you. I like that. I love it, honey. Thank you. Give me a kiss. Thanks.